I've come to Walesby in the heart of the Lincolnshire Wolds, which is an area of outstanding natural beauty that runs right down the spine of the county of Lincolnshire. And I love the Lincolnshire Wolds, not only for walking, photography, but also cycling. Hey, before we go too further in the video, I'd be really pleased if you would consider subscribing to the channel. A subscription on YouTube is much more than a vanity metric you have on other social media platforms, and everyone helps to promote the YouTube channel. If you have already, you're a wonderful person. Thank you very much. And if you haven't, even if you just subscribe for a day, that would be amazing. Thank you very much. I've come out to the Wolds with a view of trying this new lens that I bought, which is an Olympus 45mm F1.8. I bought this lens because I've been asked to take some photos at a family wedding, and I've not really got a portrait lens. I've got some lenses that match this range, but I've not got anything quite as fast as this. And this lens offers a really good quality and affordable price, and I think this is going to really help me for when I'm taking those head and shoulders shots of the bride and groom and all of the guests. This 45mm focal length is the equivalent of a 90mm in full frame, so it's a perfect lens for portraits. But it's not just a portrait lens, because it's so versatile, offers so much more than just portraiture. What I plan to do today is go on a walk between Walesby and Tealby and use this lens to take as many pictures as I can, specifically with the EPL3 body. And I'm going to try and see how good this picture is in a landscape setting, because I've not got any portraits today, and just to get a view, my first view of how this lens works and how good it is. And of course I'll share all the photos with you at the end. The lens itself is tiny, it's just 2 inches or 50mm, it's just that small, and it's made with a metal frame on a plastic body, so it's super light, weighing 116 grams. And it's so small and light, you hardly even notice it's on your camera. It's a shot of this beacon just here, and it's really difficult with the sun shining right into the camera with no viewfinder. It's really difficult to see the screen. But I'm going with this shot, f8, and hopefully this will give you a good idea of what the Wolds looks like. If you can see that, I've got the torch or the beacon just on the left hand side, on the left third, and hopefully the background will come out really nicely. This image in the church in the background is a must get shot, and hopefully this 45mm 90 equivalent will do it justice. Hopefully it won't crop it in too much. I'll do my best to make this as good a shot as I can. I'm not sure on this occasion the focal length is quite right, and I'm a bit too close to the church, so I'll going to have a wander through the Wolds up to Tealby. I'm sure I'll get the opportunity to take a much better shot of this church from a bit further distance. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into the church and see if I can take some 45mm shots inside the church. Let's see how I get on. I'm finally on my own in this church, and this is All Saints Church in Walesby, and it's known as the Ramblers Church. It seems that there's nobody in here now, which is fantastic. And I'm going to take a couple of pictures around this church and just show you what this little lens can do inside. This is just a simple shot of the pulpit, and I've gone for 1/10 of a second, f7.1 and ISO 200, just straight in the middle. It's an ideal focal length for getting sort of that shot. I'm probably 10 metres away or so from that image. These Gothic arches always look good with the sun shining in on them. I've gone for 1/40 of a second and f8. I've had a little wander around the church, and I've taken a few pictures with this, and I'll put those up at the end. I suppose you don't often have the opportunity of taking shots inside a church that's completely empty all by yourself. So I'm going to take the most of this opportunity and take a few more shots. I think this is a stunning view with the church behind me in the background and the rolling hills behind it. And when the sun comes out, I'm going to try and take the picture, and hopefully I'll get a really nice one with this lens. I think this lens will crop in quite a bit on the church, and maybe that's perfectly what I need. I'll take a picture of both vertical and horizontal, landscape and portrait, and just see which one comes out best. I think the weather is perfect for photography, and I just hope there's a little bit more blue in the sky behind the church, because all around me it's beautiful blue sky, and it just happens that where the church is, it's not blue, which is a shame. But here we go. Let's have a crack at this shot and see how this comes out. I've put the church on the right-hand third of the image so that it looks like you're looking into the image from the church. I hope that's sort of the technique I'm trying to use here. I'll do one in portrait mode, vertical now, and hopefully that gives us a slightly different perspective. All 45mm, of course, so there's no sort of changing, no zooming in or out to find the best focal length. The Lincolnshire Wolds are right in the middle of the county, and you're really high up on the hills. And if you look really closely, somewhere around there, you'll see Lincoln Cathedral in the background. And on the other side, you'll see lovely rolling hills. It's such a nice place to be. It's in such a super location. I'm back home now after my little trip to the Wolds, and I'm going to jump on my computer and have a look at some of the images that this little 45mm F1.8 lens has taken, primarily around the church, to see what they look like and see what the quality of those images are like, and are they as good as this lens should be. I'll jump on my computer now and let's have a look. I've started my computer and I'm in Adobe Lightroom and going to have a look at how the images came out, and I'm going to look at one or two pictures in and around the church. The first image I'm looking at is this sort of cropped view of the church tower, and I've set up the before and after images so we can have a look at before I've edited them and afterwards. And obviously it was a slightly darker exposure just to make sure I didn't blow out the clouds, the blue sky in the background. And it looks reasonably okay. I will zoom in to 200% on this image. There are some detail in the brickwork. It doesn't look fantastic, I have to admit. It could be, in my view, it could be better. However, one really amazing thing about this lens is that I can't see any fringing, any purple fringing, any colour fringing on this image whatsoever, which is incredible, and that's at 200%. I'll just zoom it in at 300% and see if that it is still nothing. It's a light, just a very light edge, There's no colour fringing whatsoever. So if anything, that's a massive plus. The detail at 300% is a bit challenging, but personally I think that's a really good image. The next one I'll look at is this picture of the pulpit. This was the first picture I'd taken inside the church. And this looks like an okay image. As you can see, I've lightened the pulpit a lot just to bring it out, just to show its glory, perhaps a bit too light. And if I zoom into the writing at 300%, yeah, that's illegible. You can't really read that at all, and it's quite blurry. In truth, it isn't quite as sharp as I'd like it to be. But generally, it looks okay at 100% at normal size. Back out, yeah, it's fine. There's a lot of detail in this picture, but the lens hasn't really picked it out that well. It's just, I'd say it was okay. I wouldn't say it was fantastic. And the final image I'm going to look at is the image of the doorway from the outside. And this, once again, this is a nice image. This looks better, and perhaps it's better because it's outside and it's got ambient light. So what we can do is have a look at this writing on this sign in the doorway, and at 300% or 100%, sorry, 100%, it looks fine. So if we zoom into 300%, it's almost legible. So you can potentially read this, say the upkeep of the church relies solely on the generosity of its supporters. So I think, yeah, it's not super clear, but you can read the words. So I think for this image, if we have a look at the brickwork, the brickwork's not too bad actually. It could be better, but I think overall that's a good example of how well this lens performs. The truth is, I've got to take it out and give it a real test, and I've got to take pictures of people or portraits. What I think I'm going to do next, I'll take the lens out and I'll try to get some portrait shots, and also compare the lens using my Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II, and I'll compare that lens, the new lens, with my 1240 kit lens, and just to see what the difference is. But so far so good. It's not blown me away, but it certainly looks okay for what I need it for. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you've got a good impression of what this lens can do, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.